Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Dear students, today in this lecture, we will study some other levels of biological organization, and we will start from level 3, that is organelles. As you know that in the previous lectures we studied the level 1, the subatomic particles and atoms, and level 2, the molecules and compounds. Now the level 3 of biological organization is organelles. What are organelles? When different biomolecules combine together in a specific manner and form subcellular structures called organelles. जब different biomolecules एक specific manner में एक खास तरतीब से combine होते हैं, they form subcellular structures. Subcellular means that smaller than a normal cell and form subcellular structures called organelles. Each organelle performs a specific function. Some examples of organelles are mitochondria, chloroplast, ribosomes, etc. And each of these organelles performs a particular or specific function. For example, mitochondria performs cellular or aerobic respiration and provide energy to the cell, and therefore mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell. The chloroplast is yet another very important organelle of the plant cell and performs photosynthesis, while ribosomes perform or play a role in protein synthesis, and therefore ribosomes are also known as the factories of protein synthesis. So जब different biomolecules एक specific manner में combine होते हैं और एक subcellular structures बनाते हैं, उन subcellular structures को हम क्या कहते हैं? Organelles कहते हैं. तो organelles are basically the subunits of cells. They are the subunits of cell, which means when they assemble, when they combine, yani when organelles combine, they form the unit of life, the cell. So in the next level, we will study the cell, the unit of life. Now, the level 4 of biological organization is cells. What is cell? As you know that cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Structural unit means that cell is the smallest unit or building block to make complex multicellular organisms, and functional unit means that all activities in the bodies of living organisms are performed or carried out by cell. And as you know that the cell consists of many organelles. Organelles are the subunits of cells such as Golgi bodies, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, chloroplast, etc., which perform different specific functions inside the cell. Each of these organelles performs a specific function inside the cell. In unicellular organisms, unicellular means organisms which are made up of a single cell, just one cell. A single cell makes the whole body. For example, bacteria है, amoeba है, paramecium है, chlamydomonas है, उनकी body just एक cell से बनी होती है. So in unicellular organisms like amoeba, bacteria, paramecium, euglena, chlamydomonas, a single cell makes the whole body. While in multicellular organisms which are made up of many cells, there are more levels of biological organization, that is tissue, organ system, and then organism. So now moving into the next level, that is the level 5, which is tissues. So as you studied in the previous level that in multicellular organisms, the cells which are similar in structure and perform similar functions make groups. वो cells जो structure में similar होते हैं और similar और same functions perform करते हैं, those cells make groups. Such group of cells are called tissues. ऐसे group of cells को हम क्या कहते हैं? Tissues कहते हैं. So what is tissue? How can we define tissue? A group of similar cells which perform a specific function is called tissue. A group of similar cells which perform a specific function is called tissue. For example, some examples of tissues in plants are, for example, mesophyll tissue is made up of cells which perform photosynthesis. प्लांट में एक टिश्यू है जिसका नाम क्या है? मेसोफिल है, जो कि लीव्स में पाया जाता है. सो इट इज मेड अप ऑफ सेल्स विच परफॉर्म फोटोसिंथेसिस. सिमिलरली अनदर टाइप ऑफ प्लांट टिश्यू इज एपिडर्मल टिश्यू. इट इज मेड अप ऑफ सेल विच प्रोवाइड प्रोटेक्शन, विच परफॉर्म प्रोटेक्शन or provide protection to the root, stem, leaves of plant body. And meristematic tissue is made up of cells which have the ability to divide and redivide and are responsible for the growth of plants. Right? So mesophyll tissue, epidermal tissue, meristematic tissues, these are some examples of plant tissues. Now some examples of animal tissues are muscular tissue. The muscular tissue undergo contraction and relaxation and provide movements of body parts or whole body. जो muscular tissues हैं इसके cells में क्या होता है? contraction होता है, relaxation होता है, और उन्हीं contraction relaxation की वजह से हमारे body parts या whole body में क्या produce होता है? movement. Similarly, the nervous tissue forms the nervous system. The basic unit of nervous system is nerve cell or neuron. Glandular tissue, for example epithelial tissue, they produce secretions such as the glandular tissue found, for example the glandular tissue found in the stomach walls produce a juice called gastric juice which help in the digestion of proteins, the digestion of food. Right? So muscular tissue, nervous tissue, glandular tissue, these are some examples of animal tissues. Now after tissue, the next level, that is level 6, is organs. What is organ? When different tissues combine to make an organ. So how can we define organ? An organ is a structure made up of different tissues working together for a specific function. Organ क्या होता है? Organ एक structure होता है जो कि different tissues से बना होता है. सब इकट्ठे काम करते हैं for a specific function. हर एक organ का फिर अपना एक specific, अपना एक particular function होता है. For example, in animals, stomach is an organ. It is made up of two major tissues, epithelial or glandular tissue and muscular tissue. The stomach is an organ made up of two major tissues, epithelial or glandular tissue secrete or produce gastric juice which help in the digestion of proteins. Right? It produces gastric juice for the digestion of proteins, while the muscular tissue contracts and grinds the food, breaks the food, right? Similarly, in plants, the root is an organ made up of epidermal tissues, ground tissues, vascular tissues. Epidermal tissues provide protection, ground tissues perform storage of food. Vascular tissues help in the transport of water and food. So once again, what is organ? Different tissues combine to make an organ. An organ is a structure made up of different tissues working together for a specific or particular function. Stomach, brain, lungs, heart are examples of organs. Now the next level of biological organization is organ system. The level 7 is organ system. What is organ system? Many organs work together for a special purpose, make up an organ system. जब कई organs मिल जाते हैं तो ये क्या बनाते हैं? organ system बनाते हैं. Or as mentioned in your textbook on page 15 that the organs in turn coordinate and make an organ system which performs a particular function. Look into this organ systems of your written in your textbook are given in your textbook. Organ system. The organs in turn coordinate. Coordinate means work together, and constitute means make, and make an organ system which performs a particular function. For example, the blood circulatory system in animals. The blood circulatory system is composed of organs like heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Another example of organ system in animals is digestive system, which is made up of oral cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So all these organs of the digestive system work together and help in the process of digestion. Similarly, example of organ system in plant is vascular system or transport system, which consists of xylem and phloem. Xylem help in the transport of water, while phloem help in the transport of food. Now moving into the last level of biological organization, that is organism. That is level 8, organism. Different organ systems then collectively form a whole organisms. तो ये सारे ऑर्गन सिस्टम्स मिलके क्या बनाते हैं? एक होल ऑर्गेनिज्म बनाते हैं, इंडिविजुअल बनाता है. इन मैन, इन ह्यूमन, फॉर एग्जांपल, different organ systems such as blood circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, reproductive system, immune system, muscular system, skeletal system, etc. work in coordination and form a whole organism. Work in coordination means work together. Similarly, in plants, root and shoot system make the plant body. Now look into figure 1.3 of textbook. Now if you look into this diagram, in the beginning we studied that all matter is composed of, all types of matters are composed of elements, and each element is made up of small particles called atoms. When atoms combine, they form molecules, and when atoms of biomolecules combine, they form biomolecules. And there are two types of biomolecules: the micromolecules and macromolecules. The molecules with low molecular weight are called micromolecules, and the biomolecules with high molecular weight are called macromolecules. And when biomolecules combine in a specific manner, they form subcellular structure or subunits of cell called organelles. And when organelles assemble or combine, they make the unit of life called cell. In unicellular organism, the whole body is made up of just a one cell, while in multicellular organisms there are more levels of biological organization. So in multicellular organism, the cells which are similar in structure and function combine and make groups. Such group of cells are called tissues, and when tissues combine, they make organ. and the organ in turn forms organ system, and different organ systems then collectively make a whole organism. So these are the levels of biological organization, right? There are other levels of biological organization as well which are higher than organism, such as population, community, ecosystem, and the highest level is biosphere. The smallest level is atom, while the highest level of biological organization is biosphere. But population, community, ecosystem, biosphere, these are the higher levels than organism. We will study it later on. So with this we completed the levels of biological organization. Thank you.